Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice, and it's by user ThrowAwayBroken998. Found out husband, 25 male, is cheating on me, 24 female, and I haven't told him yet that I know. I'm totally shaking right now and my mind is numb, so if this doesn't make any sense, please keep that in mind. Husband, 29 male, and I, 24 female, have been married for a year and a half. We celebrate our second anniversary in February. We knew each other since college, and he has always been a good husband and partner. Weirdly enough, lately he was even more attentive than usual, and honestly, it felt great to have a partner who wanted you so much, and I didn't have the slightest clue that it might even be a lie. I wouldn't have even suspected anything. But about a week ago, I asked to use his phone to call my parents who live in another country, as his phone plan has international free minutes. But he refused to, saying he used them all up. When I asked to check how many are left, he got frustrated as he was playing on his PS5 and just wanted to stay in peace. I shrugged it off as stress, but something in the back of my mind was telling me to look into this further. For the next few days, every time I would ask to see his phone, he would get defensive. The other day he did hand me his phone, but hovered over me the whole time, then snatched it right away saying he needed it for work. Mind you, I only asked for it to use his PayPal account and didn't even go near any of his social media apps. I'll admit, my curiosity got the best of me, and while acting like I was scrolling through my phone, I'd take note of his passcode. It took a while, but I finally got it. The only time the phone isn't on him is when he's asleep. So last night, I took it and started searching. To his credit, I found nothing in his contacts or his latest chats to suggest he was having an affair. But once I checked the archives in his WhatsApp, it was all there. He is cheating on me with a coworker, one I've met many times, and she would have been the last person I would suspect. She's married, 38 years old, and has a 12-year-old daughter. I feel disgusted reading all of their chats. I felt like I was going to throw up a bit. The biggest punch in the gut was he told her that he loved her. She's out on vacation and he told her, "I can't wait to see you," and "I wish your husband wasn't there so I could pick you up from the airport and hug you." Honestly, I feel numb. My heart has been shattered into a million pieces. This morning when he was leaving, I told him I was sick and couldn't get up. He asked if he needed to take me to the doctor, to which I just said, "I'll ask my friend to take me," and he left. I don't know how to talk to him about this, as part of me wants answers, but another part of me wants to believe this isn't real and to save my marriage. But what is there to save if he's already told this woman he loves her? I feel so many things, so much anger, resentment. Yet I'm utterly crushed and I have been second-guessing myself. Did I go wrong anywhere? I know I shouldn't think like this, but I can't help myself. I don't know how to go forward with this. He's going to be back home in a few hours. I thought about breaking everything in the house so he could see how he broke our home, then thought of leaving without telling him. But I want answers as well. I seriously don't know what to do here. Well, OP, the first thing you need to know is that you have done nothing wrong. If he started to feel differently about you and your marriage, then instead of going out and looking for a different partner, he should have spoken to you first. And in the case that cheating has to do with any kind of weird psychological underlying thing, still, no excuse, he should never have cheated. If I was in your shoes, first I would grab all the evidence I could and make sure that it's very clear so that he doesn't get to try to gaslight me or anything like that. Then I'd check the laws where you live to see if it's a fault or no fault state. Then I'd file for divorce. Thing is, some people can come back from cheating, not many people can. I know I'm in the second group. And then I'd probably send all the information to the husband so he can make his own decision. Of course that would suck for that husband and very much for her daughter, but still, cheaters suck. And what about you guys? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. California Road Toad says, "Call a lawyer, show him what you have. This is a situation which requires a clear head and a steady hand." And OP responds, I do have screenshots, but I'll be honest, you telling me to call a lawyer was like being hit by a ton of bricks. I don't know if I can go through with this, let alone a steady hand. EMCCM says, don't say anything to him, he will only deny or blame you. I know this is a massive shock, but you will never be in a stronger position with him than you are now. Get STD tested as soon as possible. People don't just wake up and turn into cheaters. The cheating you know about is usually just the tip of the iceberg. Contact a divorce attorney, gather all the information he tells you to, and then serve him with papers. We don't live in our home country. Shouldn't I have to fly back there as that's where we got married to do all this? The last Basalope says, call a lawyer and get the ball rolling. There is no coming back from this. A person who will not only cheat on their own spouse, but will also cheat with someone who is married and wreck their child's home has no morals and can never be trusted. Ever. Look up the husband on social media and send him the screenshot. He has a right to know what kind of garbage he's married to so he can choose how to handle it. Okay, well in my opinion, they're all good suggestions for OP. So now let's move on with the update to see what OP ended up doing. First off, I want to apologize for not properly replying to everyone and going missing in action. I still have many unread chats and replies on the post, which was locked by the time I could get around to it. It's been a hectic few days for me, to say the least. While still answering all of you, the husband of the affair partner replied to my direct message. I had sent him a simple, "Hi, can you please reply to this? It's kind of important." And while his profile seemed inactive, he surprisingly replied quite quickly. I got to the point so I wouldn't chicken out and told him how his wife and my husband are having an affair. Explained to him they worked together and sent him the screenshots of the WhatsApp chat. Reminding you, I had yet to confront my own husband with everything as he hadn't arrived from work yet. And there were a good few hours before he usually arrived home. I guess the husband might have confronted his wife and through her, my husband found out. But it was obvious he knew, cause that night, he didn't arrive at his usual time. I was thinking of packing up everything and leaving without telling him to begin with, but I guess I wanted answers from him as to why he'd do this to me. When it dawned on me that this man is a coward and I should just leave for my own betterment, I booked a flight back home and left for the airport before he even arrived home. I was waiting for the results of my COVID test at the airport when he called me asking me where I was, and I told him. Part of me wants to laugh at what happened next and part of me wants to cry. Not even in my wildest dreams would I have dreamt the scenario. He tells me to wait for him and we'll take the next flight after this one together. I ask him why should I even consider waiting for him, and he tells me it's all because of my stupidity. As we lived in an Islamic country, adultery is a crime punishable by at least a few months up to a year. So if her husband files a report, he could end up in jail. He basically orders me to stay put and that we'll talk when I arrive at the airport. I flat out tell him I'm leaving and that as he knew about the law and I didn't, he should have thought twice about sleeping with someone else's wife. After that, I turned off my phone and boarded my flight a few hours later. Now I'm back home and everything is slowly sinking in. It's apparent my marriage can no longer go on. I have no love left for the man who, instead of apologizing, or at the least faced me, ended up telling me, "How could you?" and turned me into the bad guy. His parents have even accused me of ruining their son's career as his boss fired him and his affair partner when he found out and even blacklisted him, so now he can't get another work visa for that country. Also, because he left in such a hurry, many things were left unresolved, like we had paid the whole year to rent in advance and still had a few months in the lease, and also things like the furniture and monthly bills. So now he's scrambling, trying to get his friends to suspend everything and sell off the furniture. And his parents are angry at the amount of stress I've caused their son. Thankfully, my parents, most of our friends, and even most of his family are on my side and agree he's the one who screwed up. Many of you suggested I do something to get revenge, but honestly, none of this was my intention, neither do I get any happiness from it. I also have zero intention of wanting anything out of the divorce. I can earn my own money, and there's nothing he can give me that will make the pain and heartbreak I felt these past few days any better. I'm not shaming people who do seek alimony, I'm just saying I prefer to sever all ties and finish this off as soon as possible. I want to move on with my life and have already reached out to my old employer of rejoining the company, to which they told me I could return whenever. Plus, I'm reconnecting with all old friends I missed while living abroad. Husband has hinted he wants to talk and maybe even consider reconciling, but I've made a strict only talk through my lawyer rule and made it clear that is not happening ever. I don't know if this is a good update, but this is the current reality. My divorce might take a while, maybe even up to a year, as judges usually will give couples a few months if one person seeks reconciliation and isn't willing to an uncontested divorce. So, for now, this man is still legally my husband, but emotionally, he's currently a complete stranger to me. I thank all of you for your love and support. The advice you all gave was really great. Thanks to all of you, I am currently lawyered up and all contact is through him. Well done, OP. Your husband and his affair partner, well, they did this by themselves. Nobody pushed them to do it or anything like that. So now they need to face the consequences. Thank you for sharing, OP, and hopefully your divorce will come through in no time at all. Take care. Now we move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user JDX2. Would I be the a-hole for potentially ruining my fiance's happiness? Long-time lurker, first-time poster. English is not my first language, and I hope I get some inside wisdom with this post. My fiance and I are getting married soon, and her sister is her bridesmaid. However, sister-in-law won't come to the wedding if her boyfriend Nick isn't invited or welcome. I don't know Nick very well, but what I heard and know about him, I'm not very keen on having him in our wedding. When we announced that we were getting married, and before we invited anyone, Nick invited himself. That rubbed me already the wrong way. His reason that he hasn't been to a lot of weddings yet. For context, my wedding will be the first wedding I'll attend, so his reason is not that strong in my opinion. He already tried to come unannounced to our home when my sister-in-law was staying there for an internship she had and expected to be fine with us. In hindsight, I shouldn't be that surprised that he invited himself. Furthermore, my in-laws don't want him to be left at home. Their home is where he also lives, because they don't trust him to be left alone there. So when Nick comes to my home, I'll have to keep an eye out, which will probably cause more stress on that day. For my fiance, family is really important, and that is why I'm torn about this question. I know that it's my wedding too, but my fiance will be heartbroken if her sister isn't there because Nick isn't invited. So, would I be the a-hole if I didn't invite him, resulting in my sister-in-law not being there and therefore ruining my fiance's happiness? Well, OP, I think you would be the a-hole if you just unilaterally decided that he doesn't get to go to your wedding because it's also your future wife's wedding as well. And in this case, I think you need to talk to her and reach a compromise. What's more important, her enjoying her own wedding just like you should, or this guy being around? I get that you don't like him, but him being there because he invited himself, is that going to ruin your wedding day? I believe you'd want your wife to have a happy wedding day, right? And if this guy's presence doesn't really ruin your wedding day, then what's the harm? Just don't pay attention to him and your wife is gonna be happy because her sister's there. And I think that's a fair compromise. As a side note, I think it sucks that your future sister-in-law is trying to strong-arm that invitation or else she doesn't get to come. That kinda sucks on her part. But anyways, what do you guys think? What is your judgment in this situation? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Bacon, Egg and Cheese SPK says, "You're the a-hole. It's perfectly reasonable that the boyfriend of the maid of honor assumed he would be invited to the wedding. Not inviting him and thus preventing your fiancé from having her sister or maid of honor at the wedding seems petty and punitive. You are risking destroying your fiancé's relationship with her sister for absolutely no good reason." Rin R says, yeah, you'd be the a-hole. At this level of the relationship, you should know how to compromise with your significant other, and you should be talking to her about it. If family is so important to her and it would ruin the day for her, then you should at least try finding a way of making this happen, and not just decide you're not inviting this person because it could possibly be a stressful situation. Narrow Map 4950 says, if your in-laws don't trust Nick unsupervised in their house where they allow him to live, they need to evict him. This isn't your fight to have, but it is rude of your in-laws to push to have Nick invited to the wedding so they don't have to worry about him being unsupervised in the house while they're at the wedding. What has Nick done to warrant the distrust? It sounds like he's a gauche and good at social faux pas, but why is he an a-hole? If you want to bar Nick from your wedding, you probably need a bigger reason than, I don't want him there. There must be a reason why your in-laws don't want him in their home without supervision. Has Nick stolen from them? As far as etiquette is concerned, it is rude to invite only one half of an established couple, especially when they live together. So unless you have a good reason beyond a gut twinge, you're the a-hole. OP's edit. Some people asked for a bit more information on why I don't want him to be there and why my fiancé is thinking of him. My fiancé is on the same page as me if we're talking about Nick. She also found it quite impolite that he just invited himself even before we sent out the invitations. Still haven't sent them. We did talk about not inviting him. However, her dislike of him is less than her love of her, and she wants him to be there if that means that her sister is there. I still haven't made a choice on this matter, that's why I made this post. We're still thinking about having no plus ones because of restrictions, so he'll be the exception in that case. Yes, he does live with my in-laws, however, he never asked and they never agreed. He just slept there one night and never left. He's also controlling, like my sister-in-law has to go where he's going and the other way around, and she cannot wear sexy clothes, her words. I think he doesn't trust her to go to a wedding alone. My biggest reason for him not to be there is that he took stuff from my in-laws and when confronted, he didn't make a big deal out of it. Alright, well Nick sounds like a massive douche, but I think the key is that your wife wants her sister to be there more than she dislikes this douche. Anyways, let's move on with the update to see what OP and his future wife decided. Although my post didn't receive that much attention, I wanted to make a proper update to close it after we got married and to reply to the people that took time to comment on my post. After I came home that evening, I showed the post to my then fiancé, and we both had a laugh at how awful I was in the post. She told me that I need to work on relaying information better. That was a big mistake on my part to not better describe the problem in my post. She also told me that she also doesn't want him at the wedding and that we were on the same page. However, she said that she wanted her sister to be there more than she didn't want Nick to be there. I said I accepted the judgment as people pointed out that Nick would probably dig his own grave and that it would cause more drama to not invite him, and I wanted my sister-in-law there more too. So we put him on the guest list, and once the invites were all ready to be sent out, we sent one to him too. We got confirmation from sister-in-law that both of them were going to be there. We made plans with him in it and proceeded as usual. But here's the good part. 2 days before the wedding, my in-laws arrived from France, but Nick wasn't there with them. They told us that he didn't want to get vaccinated and he didn't want to get tested before they were going. You need to show a negative test or proof of vaccination before entering the Netherlands. We told them 2 months in advance, and they were either vaccinated or tested, but Nick didn't want to. We looked at each other and asked ourselves if we should be pissed because we had everything planned or happy that he wasn't there. In the end, we couldn't give a crap because we were too tired at that point. We had a lovely sunny day with the people we loved, including sister-in-law. Well, OP, that worked out great. The idiot didn't come, so you had a happy wedding. Fantastic. Thanks for sharing, OP. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.